Let's take a look at this widescreen portable car multimedia player that I bought from Temu at $98 and some change. You can also get this at AliExpress for quite a bit cheaper, around $60 to $70. There's no model number on these from the website description, so it's hard to find the exact same one from site to site. The label slapped on the box says the model number is A2768. Manufacturer is Shenzhen Shenzingda Trading Company. If that sounds familiar, it's because it's the same manufacturer as the double DIN stereo head unit I bought in a previous video. The box seems well packaged. Nice foam padding to protect the screen. Here we have the instruction manual, which is a decent size this time. You know, typically stuff you buy from Temu, the instruction manual is so small you need a microscope to look at it. Here comes the main head unit here. Looks like it has the adhesive already attached to the bottom. Let's take this bracket off so I can lay the device flat. Now that sounds like a bad idea because I can already hear there's something loose rattling around inside. After struggling a bit, I found that this long screw fell in after I removed the knob. So make sure you don't remove this adjustment knob when you buy the device. Or if you were to do so, make sure you remove the screws, the 4 screws around it, before you can take off the adjustment knob. They should have glued it from the back so when you remove the knob, it doesn't just fall into the device. This is how it's assembled. Now with that out of the way, let's take a look at what else is in the box. Here we have a cigarette lighter 12-volt charger, and it shows that the output is actually 5 volt and 3 amps. So that's pretty high amps. Usually it comes with a 2.4 amp power supply. Here comes an auxiliary jack for the audio if you want to hook it up to the input, and another adhesive. Okay, let's get this booted up and see what it can do. Boot up shows a fancy sports car. It takes about 10 seconds here. Now it comes up to this menu. We have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, the media player, FM transmitter, and the settings. Let's get my Pixel 4 paired up to this display unit. Go into the Bluetooth settings to look for a new device. Now I go to the head unit. I go to the CarPlay unit, into Android Auto, into Bluetooth Manager. And as you can see, the phone recognizes the display unit. Start the pairing process. And the Pixel 4 shows up as paired to the car display unit. Now let's start the Android Auto on the phone and start Android Auto on the car display. Both devices started up and sees each other. Android Auto starts with no issues. Let's take a quick look at the built-in media player in case you don't have a phone paired to it. In the micro SD card slot, I have a bunch of songs put into folders, but this player won't show any folders. It just shows a list of all the songs on the SD card, and you can only play the songs in the order is shown here. It has a repeat one or a repeat all function, but very, very basic. You can also find video files on the SD card. This is very limited functionality, and one of the drawbacks of using such a car display device instead of having a full head unit installed, which most likely will support folder structures and give you more options as something to fall back on if your phone's not available. Here's a look at the Bluetooth player if you were just to control the music on your phone without Android Auto. It's very basic, next and previous, and you have a toggle to show the song information. Here's the FM transmitter. Lets you play through the FM stations. If you didn't want to hardwire the audio with the 3.5mm jacks, you just select the frequency and the toggle, turn it on and off. For the settings menu, you have the screensaver. You can turn it on or off. or set the intervals. You can also toggle the voice control on or off. Set your driving position if you're left-handed or right-handed. It's the language selection. You can do a factory reset, and here's the firmware information. Here's a look at the side-by-side comparison of a 4x3 display versus this extra wide display. The new Android Auto split screen layout works a lot better with the extra wide screen displays. You can see the map and the song you're playing at the same time nicely. Whereas on the 4x3 aspect ratio display, depending on the model, you may only be able to see one screen at a time. And if you were to split this screen like some other displays allow, the map is really small and it just feels very cramped. I like this extra wide display better. If you can fit this into your car or integrate it somehow, it works a lot better with Android Auto with an extra wide display layout.